I get wound up because they're all that are on the road. That's.
I'll be editing that one out, won't I? I'll be editing that one. That's one I'm going to have to block.
I've been over here trying not to swear as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so that coach as well. But it will be chopped out. I'll just beep it. I don't mind it. I don't know. I love a good swear me. Welcome to the Graphters Podcast.
Hey.
Right. Okay. So we're definitely now recording.
Sweet.
So, yeah, sweet.
Good evening.
Go on. Hello, good evening. You all right, John?
I'm great, Gary. How are you?
I'm very, very great. That sounds terrible. I'm very, very good.
You're very, very good.
I'm still managed to avoid getting COVID-19, so I'm not unhappy about that.
Well, I've now had my first jab.
I had my first jab actually last time we spoke, didn't I?
Yep. So I've now joined the crew. I've got the Medina.
Yeah, you've got the Medina. So I've got the Oxford AstraZeneca, which means that's probably the last time I'll ever see that jab virus ever again, because not the virus. That's the last time I'll actually see the that version of the vaccine, because
you got to have
I don't
both.
think they've got many left, have they now?
No, they've got to have both the same. So yeah. So I had some slight side effects. My arm turned out like Popeye, and when I rang them up, they said there's not a lot we can do about that, Mr. Stopper. I said, no, I want the other one so I can get my arms levelled up.
I am squad. I am.
Yeah, it's basically just the same old stuff that most people have had. A bit of a head cold. That was it, and now it's done.
Well, that's better than nothing.
It is. And tonight...
Actually, no, that's wrong. Actually, no, but nothing would be better, wouldn't it, quite frankly?
Nothing would be better. I mean, I hate putting topical events on, but if we were Man United fans, then that you'd believe that they've all had their jabs, because they thought congregating at Old Trafford was a great idea tonight. Thank you very much, guys.
What's football?
It's that weird thing where they kick a pigskin around.
Rather than the old days where they did the entire policeman. Sorry.
Some of this will go through.
It's we do edit this, just not very well.
No.
Right. I don't know whether anybody else can hear that. There is actually another person, and I'm not going to edit it out, but there is another person kind of in the virtual room today, isn't there, John?
There is. We are joined today by Adam Knight from D3T Games.
Thank you. I'm here for the jokes.
Are you?
Really? Yeah, actually. Everyone hates dad jokes, but everyone I know loves them.
It's a funny thing, isn't it? It's when you become a dad. Because I always hated when my dad would do stupid jokes all the time when I was a kid. I was always like, oh, God, Dad, that's awful, shut up. And then the bonkers thing is, the moment I've got two daughters who are 18 and 16, and you suddenly find that you get this unalloyed joy with seeing them grown, and it's just joyful when they go, ugh, and it makes you, as a dad, it suddenly makes you just want to do it more. It's great.
I have a friend who he's a father. He's just had his second child. He's a really great guy, and the same thing happened with him actually. Immediately, as soon as he became a dad, boom, dad jokes. I get him down on WhatsApp all the time.
Can't beat them. You
can't.
And it's the way forwards is definitely going backwards.
His daughters will never avoid them either, and I can tell you as for why. He sent me a video just the other day, and is I think she's 2.5 going on 3, something like that. She decided to clean his car with a garden trowel, and he sent me a video, and there was a scratch right the way around. I was devastated.
But she'll be forgiven.
What type of car is it, just out of interest?
It's a family car, a Toyota something or other. It wasn't. Let's put it like this: it was the most expensive car he's bought to date, and I don't think he was pleased.
No.
And in time, she will learn that she wasn't pleased with her actions either.
Well, speaking of proud father moments, as you know, Joe's taken a new direction. Gary, he's gone into the car sales business. He's now a car sales executive working for Cars 2.
Is he doing that full time then?
He's doing it full time. He's a trainee at the moment, and he's smashing out the sales. He's been there about 2.5 weeks, and he's done 10 sales. So
He's a young, good-looking lad. I bet he sold all to women, didn't he?
No, I don't think so. I think he's working for MG, so he's working for MG Cars, which obviously is Chinese. A good old Chinese British brand. And
lots of them these days, isn't there?
He's tried selling me one twice. The same car.
Why is he trying to sell you the same car twice?
Well, because I said no on the first time.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Third time's the charm. Just keep trying, Joe. You'll wear him down.
I think that's his thing. But his mum said, Marie said to him tonight, we're really proud of you. You're doing really well. Do you really enjoy it? And he said, this is my dream job, Mum. And I actually love going to work and love being with my colleagues. And do you know what? You talk about those dad moments, and I think, when your children find something that they really love doing, I think that's worth everything. Kind of makes you feel like your life's complete. So.
As I'm sure, Adam, your parents feel about you. Adam has his dream job and has never wanted anything more than this. I'm saying that. I don't know it for a fact. In fact, until this actual conversation, I'd never met Adam before in my life, but he seems like a nice chap.
I'm okay.
I have met Adam before, obviously.
Before John goes into that, can I ask a question? In fact, it's not a question, it's just basically, can you do me a favour? Adam, can you introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Yeah, I think that's a good point, I suppose. We're already in it, and we just skipped over those details. Yeah,
that's fine, it's fine.
That's how the Graphters Podcast works.
You just skip over the important details, rush into the, into depth about something that's not even to do with 3D or animation or anything. No, I am an associate technical artist at D3T. And I have been there for some time now. I actually joined right at the start of the pandemic, which was incredible and crazy. But it must be coming up a year now at this point, June or July, something like that. So it's not far around the corner that I'll have been there a year. Time really flies, but joining moving job during a pandemic is the most insane, but also one of the greatest things I've ever done as well.
Where are they based?
They are out in Runcorn.
Right, okay.
Near Warrington. For me, Runcorn seems like the Doncaster of its area. It's one of those places that unless you live next to it or around it, you don't know it.
No.
Just for reference, Adam is from Doncaster.
There's nothing wrong with coming from Doncaster.
No, just giving the reference that he's obviously comparing his place of childhood to the place now of work. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's not a dig. I really like Doncaster.
Yeah, I must admit, I've only been there a couple of times. I think both times to see John, and I liked it. So I can't say a thing.
I do believe, Gary,
yes,
that you may have seen Adam actually when you came over and did the review.
Yes, do you know what? This did cross my mind actually. I mean, I remember there was I came a couple of times, didn't I? And there was one time when I went into the room and everyone was learning ZBrush or ZBrush, whichever one to call it. And then another time when everyone was going through their final pieces.
Yes.
So.
And I'm pretty sure, Adam, when you were in that group, I'm sure you were.
You may have, I was sitting at the back telling people the hard truths of whether what they were doing would get them a job.
You were doing your degree at the time, I believe.
I was being horrible.
Yeah. I was doing my degree.
I think you might have been doing your degree and you'd come down to actually sit in on it. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure you were stood there doing it.
Okay. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Those days were fast and furious. So.
The university days?
They weren't when you were doing the work.
Yeah.
That's
So you learnt for a couple of years with John.
Yes.
And that team at Doncaster. Mm-hmm. And then you went off to uni. Which uni did you go to?
I went to High Melton actually because they started up a course just for me.
Did they?
No, they did not. They started a course. Yeah, they started a course, and I just thought, well, I'm already around people that I know and people that can vouch for me, and they know that I'm interested as well, so they can sort of give me not free reign, but the room to learn in the ways that I want to learn, because I think that's just what works for me, and that was the atmosphere there at the time. So yeah, I went to High Melton. It was great. Yeah,
it was a really weird time because myself and a director called Ian Latham set up the courses for High Melton. We got the whole thing planned out. It was going to be a progression course, just how we'd envisaged it, just how I believe it should actually be, which is obviously a 4-year progressive increment of learning. And yeah, politics kind of got involved with a few of the other degree, the other people at the degree centre, and I ended up having to just hand the whole thing over to another set of tutors. And I think we did get Adrian Smith in, didn't we, Adam?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think he came in on your second year, so it wasn't all lost. I'm not sure he was on your first year, maybe missed a bit of the first year.
I think it maybe missed a part of the first year. I don't think it was there at first, as I recall.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so we had that, and then obviously with Adi coming on board and me knowing Adi for a long time and him being from industry, I felt like I could really take my hands off it and just let it go wherever it wanted to go. But I think it was a course that was always, whilst it was at the University Centre at High Melton, I think it was always going to struggle because of the age of the buildings and also that we really struggled with the investment in the course to get it off the ground. And in hindsight, I would have probably, if I'd have been in a different position at the college, I would have fought a lot, a different fight, because the kit was never the standard of kit that obviously they've got now, which is kit to die for through the Sheffield City Region project. But yeah, so that was that. Yeah.
So you graduated from there.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask what you got?
Yeah, I got a first. Believe it or not.
Well done.
You're like the first
Well
person
done.
to ask me since I've left, so...
It's a funny thing. It gets to a point where people start to go, but what did that degree? Now, did it have any bearing on what I've done for my career? Did it help me in any way or form?
And you know what I will say? I will say yes. And
It did.
Yeah, because, and this is the reason that I always say as well, is like I went to university to get a piece of paper so that no one could say that I didn't have that piece of paper. But that's because that's how the system worked at the time. But the undercurrent of that is I actually learned something valuable whilst I was there, and that's...
You did?
Yeah, of course, yeah, because I was surrounded by, great tutors and just other great people who were invested in the course, so I was very lucky.
People who really wanted to work.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes a big difference.
I think the thing is, Gary, when you have someone that's got industry experience at the helm, that's the most important thing for me, is knowing that people who've been in those situations and understand the soft skills that are needed, and then applying that methodology into the actual coursework, it just makes for such a different combination of learning styles, everything just changes. I think once you've got someone that knows what they're doing. And I think the problem that the course has had in recent years has been it fell back onto people that had graduated and graduates running courses, which we've solved now. We've got that. We've got two guys now who are from industry. And as I was saying to the one that's not from industry, because I'm not going to mention names,
No.
The one that's not from industry,
But they're called? No.
I said that the whole point of having a course is not to have everybody from industry teaching on the course. You do need the academic rigour. You need someone that's going to stop and put the feet on the ground and actually help the students to actually do the work that's needed to be done to pass the course or get a first or whatever it is that they're going to get. So you need that academic rigour, but then around that you need the industry experience of just the quick pace and changing direction of things. That's the stuff, and we've talked about that before, Gary.
Oh, I'm very aware, John.
So Doncaster is doing really well with that, and we've obviously got. I'm back on the tools at FE, so we've got that at FE as well. So the kids are learning 3D pipelines from somebody that's done it before and still doing it. It's quite funny.
What? Is it me? I didn't even realise.
That YouTube channel is like it's like nectar from heaven.
What YouTube channel?
Oh, the Gen VFX one.
Oh, mine! Oh, good lord! Oh, God!
Do you link it all the time? Do you? You just like, I could teach you, but just go watch this guy.
Yeah. Who is this idiot?
To be fair, Adam, come on, that's how I taught.
It is true. It is true, and it's a weird thing as well. If you like ask anyone online, should I go to university? Because you see them, if you join any like 3D groups on Facebook, you will see the question, should I go to a college or university? And you'll have like 50% of people going, yeah, it's really great, definitely do it. And you'll have another 50% saying, you can learn everything you need to know on YouTube, don't even bother. So
well, I mean, yeah, but it's the difficult thing, isn't it? It's like, no, you can learn it all, but until you've actually, as you said, Adam, until you've got that piece of paper that definitely says you can do it,
exactly,
people are not going to kind of accept it. I mean, it can be interesting, though. I mean, I know there are people in the industry who have gone in as runners at the age of 18 rather than wait until they're 21, and by the time they've come to being 21, they are at a better stage than the people who are 21 coming out of university. But you're right; it's a lower number by a long stretch, because it's somewhere, and it's people who basically are taking a punt to see what will happen.
Do you think that's specifically in animation? That's something I was been curious about. In games as well?
No, it's in terms of media. I think it's well, in games. I think probably they're more likely to go for someone with a degree. But if you can, people can walk into a TV company at the age of 18 and start bringing people cups of tea and slices of toast and Marmite every morning, and or there are other spreads available. But and then before you know it, I mean, there's a lady in particular who she came in. She's a Manchester girl. She came in as a runner at the age of, well, what would she have been? I think maybe she would have been maybe 21, and she was just making tea and toast. And she's currently one of the main producers at the farm in Manchester. So so that's basically that's the broadcast sort of side of it. But it's like anything. It's hard to get your toe in the door, whether you're 18 or whether you're 21. It's about having the right skills. So,
I would say I think games companies have caught up with the internship now, and I've certainly seen through the pandemic. I've seen that they've almost quadrupled the amount of interns because they can do it all remotely, and a lot of the things that they couldn't do before. Because I mean. This is one of the things that I think people don't realise. I mean, when I worked at Eurocom down in Derby, you turn up and it's like it's quite a large footprint of a building. But what I didn't realise was there was 5 games on the go in that, and within those 5 studios that were within one footprint, you can't travel between the two. So I only went through reception and then to my area, and there was one common area that was sort of like a cafe type thing, and there was also one area where they allowed internet access. So you sat at your desk and didn't have any internet access back then.
Nope.
Which for someone that at that time
it does happen that now as well, quite a bit.
Yeah,
actually.
I can believe it would as well. And I mean,
yeah.
This is one of the reasons why. You need to, although Google is great, it's great to have that as a resource and being able to search anything. There's also, I mean, you can go through quite a few games and you see Google's influence, the Google search image influence across lots of games. Where you start to see certain things coming through, and that's going to be probably for a lot of games that come out of the pandemic because people have been unlocked. You're online. The genie's out of the bottle and they can't put it back in.
But for example, the company I work for, we are doing some project work for and other companies, other online streaming services are available, but the major one in the UK that starts with and ends in and
there's only 2 that's doing any investment at the moment, which is Amazon and Netflix.
It is Amazon Prime and Netflix. So actually, that's not quite true. I know, I've got to be careful. So basically, when we go back into work, we're having a different sort of like working environment foisted upon us, but not in a bad way. There are this. Don't worry, Adam. We'll come back to you in a second. I promise. So basically,
I swear I'm listening.
Okay. No. It's not that. I just don't want to. We want to hear from you. But I'll just say this one quick thing before you carry on. The server room needs to have a camera looking at it.
Yeah.
And there has to be a door between the people who walk into the office and where the work is being done. So we are going through there's a level of change, and all the machines have no internet access. So that's purely for the same reasons as why there's a camera on the server room and why there's a door. Because obviously, if it's a property that you're working on for a company, they don't want anybody to know about it. I mean, there's a part of me thinks it's like when please, you will leave your phone at the door. I mean, it's like
line of duty.
A basket, yes, pretty much. Well, yes. Oh, don't! I'm looking at the clock all the time. We're recording on a Sunday. Anyway, no, there was a question I actually wanted to ask you as well, Adam. I've got a little list of them actually. I sent them to John earlier on, but
yeah.
Where have you worked? So you did your degree, and then how was it for you getting a job?
It was a great experience, to tell you the truth. Yeah. I did a year, maybe a year and a half of freelance, something like that, which was good. It was great. I genuinely really enjoyed it and knew that I was lucky in that I don't feel like a lot of people doing sort of 3D media just get to walk out of university and do freelance. I think a lot of times it is off the back of proven good work in a sort of industry environment. So I was lucky in that respect. I'd really enjoyed it, but it was just tough and difficult. And I think when you're young, you have like zero resources. So I needed a job where I could get paid. And I was like, this is great, I'm enjoying it, but it's stressful, and I don't like thinking, I might not be able to pay rent next month.
Yeah.
So I started looking, and even though I had experience, and I had provable experience, it still took me nearly like 6, 7, 8 months to find a job.
And who was that with?
That was with AO, AO.com. They are based in Manchester as well, actually.
They are indeed.
Yeah, they are based in Manchester. Now you can't walk anywhere in Manchester without seeing an AO logo. But genuinely a great company. Got my foot in the door there as a 3D modeler. Really enjoyed my time there. Met some great people. Still friends with a lot of those great people. And yeah, like that was sort of day to day, just applying what I'd learned at school. Basically, I went in there. I was on a real-time team at the time. And they were using 3ds Max, and I was brought up using Maya as well. So I had to sort of leap over into Max, which was incredibly interesting. And even though I don't know, you come through university and college or whatever, and like you get this tribalism within you, like Maya, only apply for Maya jobs. Eventually, you're like, I just need a job. Yeah. So when I went there, I was fully expecting to learn Cinema 4D, which is what they use for most of their work. And yeah, I got there and they were like, no, you'll be part of the real-time team, you'll be using Max. So I was fortunate enough to learn Max there. And during that time, I just started like tinkering with stuff. I was like, yeah, it kind of works how I want, but it's like this little thing. And because I was still very much hard-coded into like that Maya style of working, so I just made it work for me. And then I sort of got into Python and MaxScript and MelScript and things like that whilst I was there.
Oh, MelScripts. Oh, love them. Even now.
Really?
I've started to move across to Python, and I still sort of, I just feel so much more comfortable with the MelScript. It's like Python to me feels like a hard chair, and MelScripts just feel like a big comfy sofa. I do have a preference, that's for sure.
The thing is with that is like the further you reach up, the harder that chair becomes as well. I've learned.
Absolutely, yes.
But I really like Python.
Just to wind the clock back a little bit though, Adam, because there was an interested party who saw your work through the Grads in Games Search for a Star. Was it Search for a Star? It was Search for a Star, I think it was, wasn't it?
One of them. I can't remember
one of
Rising
their competitions.
Stars, if you're in college or in your first year of uni, I don't know. I can't remember.
You were in the last year, weren't you? So so it was Search for a Star.
Was it Rising Stars?
Yeah, it's the Grads in Game stuff. We went down to support Adam. I drove all the way down to Hertfordshire because he'd been shortlisted for the finals. And even though I know Ian and the team very well, they kept everything really close to chest because it's all done on the day. So it's interviews, nothing's guaranteed. Obviously, the work's got you to that level, it's got you to the final, but the work is then really not really considered anymore. Certainly in the art sense, because then they're asking you the questions about how you did it, why you did it, what you did, and all the sorts of things that go on. And Dom came out from Sumo and had a quick word while they were having a coffee and said, one of your lads is in there and we just can't make head and tail of what he wants. He said, have you got anything that can add to that? And I went, no, pretty much that sounds like Adam, to be honest. He said, well, it just seems a shame because he could be one thing or another thing, to be honest. So really, Adam, you missed out on probably taking a prize home, didn't you, from Search for Star?
Yeah, I don't know. Did they even do prizes back then? Didn't you just do it for the glory? They have prizes now.
You got a certificate.
It was definitely a prize at the time, I think.
Yeah, the prize was an internship with Sumo.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and obviously that's why he came out and said, well, we'd like to take him, but we don't know where to put him. So, that was the sort of thing. So, I think when we were talking about the end of your university year moving into freelance, obviously you and I had a couple of big discussions, and I think you took a client off of me that I'd got at the time because just I couldn't do it anymore. It was becoming too demanding. They wanted more and more 3D work being done, and it had gone from being, can you do this next month, to can this be done for next week? And obviously when you're working in, you're teaching and everything else, it was like, no, I can't do that anymore.
The good old 3-day turnaround.
Yeah,
that's a trick I learned from you.
I guess it's a very good thing to learn.
Yeah,
It
really is.
So
especially, I mean, you've probably found that now you're working.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think coming out of university, Gary, I think coming out of education, that 3-day turnaround doesn't exist in a university format, and we've tried to simulate it. In fact, Skills Academy guys who were on that course this year, they'd done a job for NASA, and it was a 5-day course, like 5-day competition, and the presentations were done at the end to someone from NASA. Now they were only first years. They got a comment from NASA saying really enjoyed the presentations. Obviously not as well finished as some of the others, but the others were finished by second years, so they'd had another year on top. And I did say that to the guys. I said, look, you've punched above your weight there, so it's really good to see that that's happening. But yeah, back to Adam's. I think that was when I thought, right, well, Adam's not ready to get a job, proper job yet, and I think freelance was a great way for breaking into your psyche of, I need to do proper work, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. You are right. I was, for lack of a better term, a hot mess coming out of university, but it wasn't like I was unstable.
Aren't a lot of people
like that. Well, yeah, absolutely.
No, but it is. It's like you take someone who thinks they know what they want to do, you stick them in an environment where they've never been in before, without any family and with a bunch of money, and everything happens dramatically and at speed. Oh yeah, I mean, I went to Bournemouth Uni back in. Well, it wasn't Bournemouth Uni when I went. It was when I left. But I went there in 1988, and I spent a bloody fortune that first term. I was smoking and drinking my head off and making a complete idiot of myself all the time. I mean, this, to be honest with you, you couldn't. It was
like going out of lockdown, really.
It's hard for me. Yes. I can't even. But so you came out. You did freelance for about a year and a half. You then went to AO. How long were you with AO?
Just shy of 2 years. And just to sort of clarify, and it is kind of important why John brought up that stuff before as well. So basically, I came out of university, didn't have a clue what I wanted to do. Which is why, whilst I was at AO, I started tinkering with Python and things like that, because at university I was doing a bit of everything. Did a bit of, modelling, really loved modelling, really enjoyed it, but I was always like that person that wants to go, what if we did this as well? And what if we added this on? And then started putting this, because I was always like about the end product, if that makes sense. I just want to see something completed, right?
Yeah, sorry, just bloody finish it, Adam. That was what we used to say to you all the time. Just bloody finish it.
No, just try stuff. Just keep trying new things, just keep making it better. I am like feature creep in human form. And yeah, like came out of university, did the freelance, did about, I think it was just shy of 2 years at AO, and like I said, got really into like the Python stuff and creating tools and helping artists sort of actuate the things they wanted. And during that time, the focus for the team went away from real time back towards the pre-rendered stuff that they were doing. So I came into cinema, which I never learned any cinema. I couldn't model a single thing in cinema, but I can definitely code cinema with Python pretty darn well, if I do say so myself.
Good man.
So, and like that was how I did everything, and I just like, well, if I need to do what you guys do, there's no reason why I can't keep using Max and then just automate that stuff inside cinema. And that was a really great time, but they weren't looking for more technical artists or like technical backup at the time. And that was when I was like, well, my career definitely doesn't lie just in modeling fridges and stuff like that. And I was like, it's time to make a change and find the thing that's me. And I was like, I kind of felt like I'd found my calling, was like technical artistry, as it were. And I was like, this is where I want to be, doing what I want to do. So that's when I started applying again, and it was on and off, maybe 8 months, something like that. And then had a couple of interviews. Some went well, some not so well. I'm a difficult person to get along with, I know that. And that's fine. But I had an interview with D3T, thought it went really well. Didn't hear anything back for a little while, which isn't unusual. You know how it is, like you have an interview and then nearly a month can pass before you get a phone call, and that's fine. But a month passed, and then a couple days, and then the pandemic hit, and I was just like, that job's just off the table, right? No one's hiring during a pandemic because no one knows where they're going to be in 12 months' time. That was just that was the atmosphere. And then a couple months later, they just gave me a call back and was like, "Do you still want this job?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I suppose so." I wasn't planning on moving jobs either because I was like, well, AO's a huge company as well, so it's not going anywhere, right? And as far as I know, they're doing really well because they're all about online delivery, so they were just built for the pandemic. So props to them on that respect. So I was more than comfortable there and happy to still have a job because I know that not everyone did during the pandemic. And I was like, well, yeah, why not? I thought I'll at least give it a shot and hopefully learn something from it. Went back for an interview, an online interview anyway, because no one was going anywhere. And then a couple months later, there I was. I had to hand in one PC and then get another one delivered. So, and then that was it. I joined up at D3T as an associate technical artist and been there ever since and loved every minute so far.
And you've done everything from home pretty much?
Yeah. So, do you remember sort of last September time? Might feel like 1,000 years and 5 minutes ago at the same time. And so I went in for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And then they were like, everybody go back home again. So I was like, okay. I bought a car, but it's okay. I bought a car to travel into work. And that wasn't on them because they didn't know. And obviously numbers were low, but like government guidelines changed and they just weren't allowed to have people back and things are on the rise again. So so I've been in the office maybe 2 or 3 weeks total since joining up. And even then I only saw maybe 5-10 people there. So it's been quite the ride, as it were. And there's D3T, they're doing great too. They've sort of been hiring for a while now and still are, as far as I'm aware, doing really well. And like their team's grown massively, and a lot of people are just like me and have joined. And I think even one guy doesn't even live in this country and has been working with us X amount of time, and he's just never been to the office because he's never had the opportunity. And you don't know if you're going to be able to, even if you did come here. So,
what would you say is the hardest project you ever worked on?
That you can say you've worked on.
Yeah, that you can talk about.
Great question. Actually, really great question. It definitely feels like an upward tempo. So like constantly, everything that I've tried to do is harder, but that's only because I always push myself out of my own comfort zone and into a place where I'm like, I don't know anything, but I have to learn stuff real fast. So learning on the fly all the time is great. But I would definitely say, looking back, it was genuinely working freelance, working with the council, because there was a lot of expectation on the table on both sides, both in terms of what I wanted to create and knew that I was able to do, and both from them in terms of what they wanted and what they wanted the public to see. And that's the thing as well. A lot of freelance jobs are usually, especially when you're doing shop fitting, are internal. So they just want the client to know what it's going to look like, and that's great. And with the council, it was like, so we're going to put this on the website, we're going to put it on YouTube, people are going to know about it. And I was like, people are actually going to see the stuff that I do for a change. And it's definitely different from working in a company as well, in that when I see that video, and I've seen it since, I look back at it and I see only my own mistakes, because it was only me and maybe 2 or 3 other people that were working on it. But like when you're sort of with a company, you can kind of like admit those problems, because it's the team, and you have people around you to support you and go, well, we tried and we did our best, and you know that everyone's there together. But when it's just you, and you feel like the onus is on you to create and deliver something that is as everyone expects, it's definitely different. But at the same time, would not trade it for the world. It was a great experience, and I gained a lot of perspective.
I think we've spoke about that, because Gary and I have worked freelance as well, and I think the hardest thing is it's selling your soul time and time again, and stripping away that personal, the empathy that makes you the human being. You just become this giant soul that just
Still waiting for that to go away, my giant soul. I've seen the doctor 7 times.
It really does. So I think you
arsehole,
did dodge that one quite. You were only in it for about a year, but luckily enough for about a year, which is great, because I think I spent about 3.5 years.
10 years as a freelancer.
I had some
10 whole years.
One of those occasions is where I reconnected with Gary. You can imagine that one, eh?
We're getting the band back together.
No. He came. I was working full time when he came in, and it was like I felt like a jaded old border collie, and there was this puppy next to me doing this. Oh, it's great here. I love it here. When's the next food coming along? They bring you lunch.
I actually had a desk. It was amazing.
I tell you what, a desk is a life changer. Because if you're freelancing, and especially, like I said, I came straight out of uni doing it, so it wasn't like I had an abundance of cash and a place to call my own, so I didn't have an office. I was doing it out of my bedroom, so I was going to sleep at night with one eye on the PC, so those renders done, yeah? They might be switching over.
Yes,
it was good, though, because obviously I took some of the lessons that Gary taught me into the classroom that taught Adam.
Yeah, absolutely.
The things like...
You mean shut the up and do some work, please?
Yeah, you wouldn't be surprised how many times I had to learn that lesson.
Oh, I think, but to be honest with you, I'm 51. It's taken me those many years, and I still haven't quite got it right.
Do you know what, Gary? I was listening to Baz Luhrmann's "Wear Sunscreen," and every time I listen to it, I think of you.
Why? Am I sunburned?
Some of the most interesting 40-year-olds I know still don't know what they're doing. No. It just makes me think of you every time.
I remember seeing this wonderful. I love. There's a website, and they have a Twitter feed and everything else. Obviously, what is it? It's to do with the worst clients possible, and it's like every. I forgot what it's called exactly, what the name is, but so I get this feed come in, and it's always about the stupid things that clients say, from the perspective of the freelancer or whoever who's doing the work for them, and every time I read them, I just go. Yep, had that one. Yeah, had that one.
Yeah, see, there's a CG memes one as well. I think on Facebook there's a CG memes one that comes up, and every time I see it, I mean, unfortunately, and we will get onto this subject, I think, at some point, but unfortunately, a lot of it now is anti-Blender. Well, not anti-Blender, anti-Blender users, constantly going on about the fact that Blender's free. Did we mention it's free? But I think the other thing is that it's. If you're not a Blender user, then you are the standard. Your industry, and I'm giving the quote marks, standard.
Here we go. I just saw his fingers either side of his head do a winky thing.
And I suppose the thing is, are you doing the job for a living? Yes. Are you using Blender? Yes. Then it's standard. End of case.
You have the same problem that people use Linux have, where because obviously Linux is open source, I believe, and they just people that love Linux bang on about Linux.
Oh, mind you, there's a new release of Red Hat. It's the best one ever. It's 16.74.
So you guys have all the same memes.
It's in the film industry, in in the film industry, they basically used to. I don't know whether they still do.
It's all Linux.
But
it's
all Linux.
Yeah.
Because
Really?
there's basically it's the minimum operating system required to get the software to work, and it just means that if they need to do anything to it, they can really simply. Essentially, it's like the Mac version of Windows, and it costs pennies.
Yeah,
And-
I mean, I'm not
and it does the job.
complaining because I really want to start using Linux.
But you got to remember, I started with Silicon Graphics, which was Unix. And
No, you see, same here.
And that was, just literally, that was like taking a V8 engine and sticking it on a go-kart,
Yeah,
pretty much. It just tore.
but that V8 engine, by the way, was like 256
Megabytes.
RAM. and people were making movies with that. Anyway, I'm not going to. Anyway, along with the hardest project I've ever worked on, what is the best project you have worked on?
Ooh.
And there's a reason why I've asked this directly after that previous one.
Okay.
That you can talk about.
Yeah, that's the thing. I would definitely say some of the stuff that I'm working on now really brings me a lot of joy in a lot of different ways. But I can't really say anything about that. But the best project I would say that I've worked on, in a lot of ways, it's the same. It is similar to the whole sort of council scenario. I don't know how much I can really say about it. I'm sure it's...
Just talk around it.
Yeah, I mean, basically at AO, we did this project with some shoes for a company called... I'm sure they won't mind mentioning. They won't mind mentioning. They've seen the it's out there. The shoes have already been and gone, and like you know what shoe fanatics are like. But yeah, that project was really great because it took the whole team who were people who spent a lot of their time modeling. If it wasn't kitchens, it was ovens, microwaves, and fridges. Which is great and a lot of fun. And like if you're, if there are people listening to this who are just getting in to the industry, go and look at AO because I would genuinely say it is a great foot on the door. But yeah, it took everyone from that team and went, so you know how you really like modeling hard surface ovens and fridges? Go and model a shoe. And then it was just so enjoyable to see a team of like 40 people stand up and go, eh? They're just like pondering shoe for a while.
I had to model a Nike Mercurial football boot.
Yeah, how was it?
For an ad. Well, it was identical to the football boot when I finished it. And
yeah.
do you know what they did?
Was it, John?
It was. And do you know
Did you count the stitching? Because believe me, the client will have counted the stitching.
I used some very strategic texture mapping techniques from all the reference photos that I got. And can I just say that in the end we went from a shot that went horizontal to front on. We went from sort of like side to front shot to just a side shot only, breaking a boom sound barrier. And
right.
This was for Sedley. He ended up just using one of the reference photos cut out strategically. God love him, he paid me though. He did pay me, God love him. But you know what? You just sometimes go, wow, just wow.
The reason why I asked that one after the other one, because one of the worst projects I've ever worked on, and it was atrocious. The actual, not the project itself, but the method of actually getting from the very beginning of nothing to the very, very end was so awful. But the actual project itself is beautiful, and I'm never gonna say what it is. I just can't. It almost put one of the members of staff in the hospital.
Well done.
Seriously. It was a tough job.
Call it a labor of love. But yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why I said that is because it was genuinely watching a bunch of people go, oh no, what do we do? To figuring it out, and then it was just amazing watching those people at work. So yeah, it was just a great project to be on, and I'm just glad I was there at that time.
Yeah, it's a great thing. I can imagine seeing all these people trying to, how do we do this? How do we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, right, I'm going to crack through these now as fast as I can. Is that all right, John?
Speed round, is it?
It's not quite a speed
John
round.
has places to be.
It's not just
right,
that. I often find myself as the timekeeper for these conversations.
No, it used the first one. I was the timekeeper, and from this point on, he's like me going, "Come on, speed it up." And I'm not a slow talker, so God knows what's going on here.
It's because John's heard all this, so we don't care.
I know.
Oh.
Listen, he hasn't edited one of these yet. I've done all the editing so far. That's going to change very soon, young man.
Well, it'll certainly be a different cut and edit, bit of drum and bass.
No. It'll be absolutely wonderful. I know it will, because it better be.
Oh
right.
God, I've just realised you'll be the client.
Oh, I'm going to be great. I'm going to love being that. Shorter, longer. Yeah. So, what would you? A couple of questions. Firstly, if you could say anything to yourself, if you could go back and look at everything that you've done so far, go back to yourself at 18, not 16, at 18, what would you be telling your 18-year-old self based on where you are right now?
Wow. I mean, that's kind of unfair for me. And I'll tell you as for why.
What, because you're 23?
For a start, I'm 27.
Oh, right, okay. You just look 23.
I don't think
for everyone who can't see this young man, he's a very, very handsome young bloke.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you.
Pleasure. In a manly way, obviously.
Yeah. I'm also single, if anyone's listening. Maybe cut that out.
That's Adam Knight on...
It's fine. We said it. It's out there. I'm handsome and single. It's okay. It's fine. It's, I can accept that. No, the reason why I say it's kind of unfair is because of my age, actually. Because when I was 18, I had just finished A-levels, and I had achieved absolutely nothing. So to
you can
say
tell
that
the story about meeting me, then, can't you?
Yeah, I can do, actually. Yeah, because it was around about that
time.
Don't
go to Doncaster College. Don't go to Doncaster College.
No, but that's the thing. What I would say to my 18-year-old self is just keep doing what you're doing. Because I basically what had happened was I absolutely trashed my A-levels, achieved basically nothing in 2 years because I was doing stuff that I wasn't invested in. I really liked games, really loved art, but didn't really see it as a career, so never really pursued it with any serious charge, basically. Yeah. Was thinking about potentially going into something science or physics related because I have a keen interest, but definitely not enough to pass a class, let me tell you. So I was like, you know what?
Oh, sorry, I just saw John's head just go,
yes.
Yeah,
I can see that. Yeah, he knows. So basically what happened was a friend was joining the course at Doncaster College and said, I'm doing this, and I was like, oh, why are you doing games? And he was like, I don't know if I should say this. You might have to cut this. He was doing the art course at college at the time. And he basically said, I'm going to do games because it's like doing art, but you can actually get paid to do it.
There's nothing wrong with
I'm not putting that, mate.
You know
that's
what?
Not going to be edited out at all.
We both went and did the same course, and we both have jobs doing 3D work, so he wasn't wrong.
No.
So yeah, basically signed up late as well. And I'll still remember the day to this day. It was me and a guy called Declan who also signed up late, and we met John, we sat down. I believe he gave me some sort of speech about there'd be no pissing about on my course, because he was still a bit green back then, so he wasn't really used to talking to people who were usually 16, but in my case 18 because I'd fucked about. So I was like, don't worry, I ain't really got the time to be fucking about.
Time to bleed.
Yeah, so yeah, joined up, and that was it. That was then the next day was John walking in and basically saying, of everybody here now, maybe 2 or 3 of you are going to get a job. Something like that. Yeah, so
this is the reason why probably more of them actually have got a job, because of that level of
honesty.
And
it's a pain, but he's right. I will just say as a quick addendum to that.
Yeah.
Basically, the reason, I don't want to sound snarky and up myself.
Go for it.
Just with the whole just keep doing what you're doing scenario, because really what that means is it doesn't matter who you are, and I will say this as well, to some degree, how old you are. If you want to make great art, the best thing you can do is just go out there and do it, and just dedicate yourself to it, and you will get there if you are putting in the time and putting in the graft, as is the name of the podcast. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That is it. And that really what it was. I put in the time, and I was given some tough love, and that was kind of what I needed at the time. I need to be told, don't mess about, don't waste, don't squander that time here, and it really helped me. So that reality check's really important, I think.
So software-wise, right now you're using, I'm guessing using 3ds Max now, are you really?
Are we talking professionally or in my own time?
Professionally, first of all.
Professionally, I'm using Maya again.
Yay.
Yeah, I just, when you're doing 3D, I mean, they did say please try and use whatever the project requires. So I think when I first got there, I used a bit of Max, but then realized other people were using Maya, and I was like, I kind of want to get back into it. So I kind of wavered between Max and Maya. Currently, professionally, I'm using Maya. Personally, I can't afford Maya because I'm not made of money. So I've started on the Blender train.
Say it.
John has just nagged me, just been like, why, use Blender, and to be fair, you know what? It's pretty damn great. I'm actually really enjoying it. So.
It's wonderful for modelling.
Yeah. It is. It actually really is. And what else?
And it's so quick.
It's great for UVing too.
Yes, it is really good. Yeah, if you got the UV magic on and all that sort of stuff.
I have nothing installed. I have Blender vanilla installed.
I've just bought the UV. Yeah, I've just bought the UV add-on. I think the UV unwrap add-on. I can't remember which one it is, but I've bought one and it's really good. I mean, really, Packmaster. That's the one. Packmaster. Brilliant.
No, just forget that. Honestly, you just need to get all your seams right on your model.
Yeah.
And just go unwrap.
The reason I like the Packmaster
Jesus, that's
one
fantastic.
is it gives me a little fly-out menu that helps me just be a bit more like Maya. And I'm still transitioning. Still need those little those helpers every now and again.
Well, walking on that crutch, yeah. To be fair, I have that same issue as well.
Just on the modelling front though, when I moved over to Blender very quickly, and Gary nearly had an heart attack when I told him I was doing it. I actually taken on a little freelance project for someone, and ended up doing a 2.5 minute animation of a toy train flying around a garage. And yeah, the rendering alone was absolutely amazing, but the animation tools were just off the chart. I mean, for someone that had never animated in Blender before, I'd got camera pans, I was tracking like I did in Maya, I'd got the noised modifier on the actual animation curve, Gary, is just divine.
It's fabulous. Just to be able to just turn it. I just want to have a bit of noise here.
Yeah,
and I want to wind it out.
Yeah, the NLE on that now, the non-linear animation editor is just really getting there. You can do some really good stuff with Blender stuff.
I will come round to that. I'm still falling more in love with the compositor, which I really don't want to do, but I am. Sorry, Adam. So, what would you say is the most important software that students need to know to get a job in either the games or the VFX industry? Is there one piece of software that you can think of right now that, if they knew it, would give them a better chance of actually getting a job?
I don't think I do. My answer is no. Just create good art, and that's the be all and end all. It doesn't matter what you learn or what you use. Just create good art, and at the end of the day, if you're a good artist, they will take you on. No matter what it is that you are using. Other than that, what I would say is there does seem to be a demand and a need right now for people who know sort of substance and algorithmic, but that's just from my perspective. It's I still see certain people with gaps in their knowledge of it. And I only know that as a periphery. Even I don't know what it is that they're missing. I can just see that. But that's just me.
When you're saying substance, are you saying substance designer or substance painter?
Designer. I've seen great people who know a lot of painter stuff. But again, skills and technique vary, and some people are better than others.
I think with the game, I think with the new game engine optimization stuff, I think substance design is becoming the key thing because you can do the procedural textures so much easier. For sure.
I will say this: if I could get taught Perforce at college or uni, that would have made my day a lot easier because no one teaches you anything about source control, source control software anyway. And
I believe we did do a unit on it, Gary, when Adam was there, but I think he may have been asleep on that. We were using Shotgun at the time.
Over the head. I do not remember that. Was I sick that day?
It was a couple of weeks. Yeah, you may well have missed it.
These things happen though, don't they? You just it's very easy to the problem with anything with education is the reason why I asked the question about which thing is the best piece of software that they can learn is because every single course it's it's such a broad spectrum of stuff, and it's very difficult to compartmentalize and work towards one goal at education. But as you eventually start going further down the rabbit hole, you start finding something which is much more what you like, and that's where you end up working, pretty much. Yeah.
Gary, before we get into the quickfire, which I know Adam's bricking himself about right now.
He's got no reason to. It's nothing special.
I'm just conscious that we might miss the topics of newsworthy items that we normally drop in, and I'd like to start us off with Epic.
What, buying ArtStation
and making all the learning tools there and all the learning courses free until the end of 2021.
This is news to me.
There you go.
It only happened a couple of days ago. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, I got the bulletin yesterday, so could have been a couple of days.
Yeah, and then Ask NK had it all over his channel immediately.
I missed it. I honestly missed that one. And I've actually got NK on my new television, which is great because it's got the smart TV, so I've got him bookmarked on YouTube.
Oh, I got it. Is there any YouTube channel which you always watch, Adam?
Work related specifically?
Preferably.
Yeah. When you're grafting.
Yeah.
Good question. At the moment, a lot of Jay's 2 cents because I'm really interested in building PCs, but that's neither here nor there. I suppose...
I can see his face. He's looking at his YouTube.
I mean, yeah, I am actually just looking at my YouTube. If you could see the glints in my eyes, you'd see... I really like Markham 3D.
Markham. I love Markham 3D.
And I will say this, I tried to watch... Because when I told John I was starting to learn Blender, he sent me like about 40 links. And they were all genuinely quite great. I mean, I didn't watch all of them, I'm not going to lie. But I don't know, like the dude, like I watched Blender Guru, who is like everywhere as well, and they're all great tutorials, but like Markham 3D was just someone who just kind of spoke to me, and again, I was doing a little bit of freelance work actually in my spare time, and I was like, I need to know Blender like now, and he was like, here's how to do a little bit of hard surface in Blender like now, here's how to do some UVs like now, and that was all I needed to know, and I just got in, got out, and knew what I needed to know.
That's exactly why I've done. That's exactly what I've done with my channel because I feel exactly the same way. You just want to learn one thing at a time. I just want to find out how to UV. Now I just want to teach me basic texture painting, please, in Blender.
I did learn something that day as well, Gary. Thank you very much.
Which one?
The texture painting one.
Have you seen the one I've just done the Cryptomats?
No, I've not. I've been busy. We have both been busy. We know we've both been busy.
It's. I was quite pleased with it actually because I actually discovered more stuff as I was doing the edit. So I had to put it in as text over the top. Right, are you ready, Adam?
I am. I will just as well super quickly say I do quite like a YouTube channel called Tales of Nellstone, but only because they do one really great video, which is how to bring an asset from Maya right the way through to completion, and it's a signpost. I can't find the video, but like it's really great. And if you're learning Maya.
Yeah, it's been around a while.
It's a really old video, but it's actually...
Oh, right. Can you one of you find me the link for that, and then I'll try and stick it in the... I'll stick it in the notes.
But I just think if you're learning Maya and you want to learn how to texture and all that sweet stuff, it's a great video just to sort of get you started with the basics and show you the bare minimum that you need to do to get her done, basically.
I have a full course... I have a full free course on Udemy. If you look me up on Udemy, there's a full free course on getting into Maya.
Do you have to pay for it?
No, it's free. It's free.
Oh well, then I never think of Udemy and things like that, even though there are free stuff on there.
If someone tells me there's a rigging course on Udemy, which for this week only is £19.99, and normally it's like £300.
I had to fight with them when I did mine because they actually said it was really, it was really well put together.
It was good content.
Yeah, so I had to fight with them to keep it free. I said it was free because I needed it for student resource. Even though they kept saying, just use a discount code. That's
really good. Actually, no, you're right, though. You should have done the discount. They're right. I'm sorry, they are right.
Well,
yes.
16,000 subscribers, so I'm...
Right. 16,000 subscribers can be wrong. It's better than my paltry 37. Right. Okay.
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
Adam. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say a part of the 3D process, and I want you to say a piece of software that you think is best for it.
Okay.
And then the last three after that, the last five, because there aren't that many. But so there's five more after that, and basically you've just got to say one or the other, pretty much.
Cool.
Apart from the very last one, which is one you've got to decide for yourself what the answer is. Okay.
I like it. I'll
So-
forget all that once we're in it, so it's cool. Though.
Brilliant,
We'll
okay.
just
So-
it'd be more fun that way.
Yep. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to say something, and you're going to tell me which software is best for it.
Okay.
Modelling.
Maya, it just came out. I'm sorry.
It's fine. UVing.
Blender, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Really enjoying it recently.
Rigging.
Maya. Easy peasy.
Texturing.
Substance Painter. Love it.
Animation.
Instantly went back to Maya.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Rendering.
Unreal Engine. Don't hate me. If you want an explanation, we can do
No.
that afterwards.
Maybe. Actually, we might have to, because there's some of the questions are the ones that are coming up. Compositing.
After Effects, but I haven't done enough to know.
Okay. Unity or Unreal?
Unreal, but only because I use it all the time.
Maya or Blender?
Blender. I gotta say Blender. Actually, I gotta.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Custard cream or bourbon?
No, you can't do this to me.
I can.
Custard cream. Gotta say custard cream.
Okay. And lastly, but by no means leastly, what is your best lunch that you have when you're working?
Best lunch that I have when I'm working.
Yeah, best working lunch.
That's tough because I'm known for like at AO. I was known for coming in with some crazy food. If I'm really going out there, best working lunch, chicken katsu curry.
Oh! In fact, well, I know of 3 people who would completely and utterly agree with you there.
Let me tell you, you get that with a spoon or some chopsticks.
Mine's Thai green curry. I like the Thai green curry from
I'm
Sainsbury's.
liking it. I'm liking it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I used to do a lot of cooking.
Yep. Well, you still are. I can smell it from here.
Oh yeah, it's going. It's smelling great in here. I wouldn't believe.
I was going to say, or if ever we have stew, it's yesterday's stew. That has got to be the best.
Okay, that's
working
good.
lunch.
That's a good question. That's a good answer.
Reheated with lots of nice fresh white bread slathered in butter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
Yeah, when it goes from that congealed state back to liquid. Oh,
What you mean? We take it, you heat it up from in the pan.
yeah.
Yeah.
From solid to liquid. Beautiful.
So they weren't the most difficult questions in the world, but they are revealing. They are revealing.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, modelling, I have to say, I've gotten to the stage now where I prefer Blender to Maya.
Yeah, well, I will say, I do wonder if that's only because I've not done nearly enough yet to say that I prefer it.
Well, Adam recently did a model. It was more of a texturing demo for next gen for the students to show the workflow in Maya, specifically Maya. But he forgot to record the modelling process, so I did it in Blender for him.
I'm a professional. Somebody pays me to go to work. Would you believe?
Yes.
That's
No,
the
I
correct
believe
answer.
that. I believe that. So obviously, but when you're being paid for it, all of a sudden it becomes quite real, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah.
It makes a big difference when you get money for it. You're like, oh my god, I could do this and get paid.
Yeah. It's like, what do you mean? I can sit
yeah.
at my PC and have a grand old time.
Yeah. Well, that's the great thing about this job, I think, in any form, is that if you love it, if you love what you do, you never do a day's work in your life.
Absolutely. I do agree with that saying. It is very true. I love every minute of what I do,
and weirdly enough, even though I genuinely loved the 20 odd years that I worked in the industry, being in education is definitely the place where I've ended up, I think, making the most smiles for myself, because there's times when obviously you're at your darkest moments when you feel that there's failure on the horizon for learners and for people, because it's people's lives at the end of it all. But then people like Adam come along, and it's not just Adam. There's Tom Widdowson, there's Dave Whittaker, Jack Wharton. I've heard has just got a job at Sumo. So there's lots of as I say, it's only 1, 2, or 3 of you that will get the job out of cohorts. But I suppose people do end up with those life lessons, and I've said this before. it's not enough time. 2 years at FE. We need 4 years to, I think, give people the best chance possible. When you think back as being a runner, and I was a runner down in Soho, what I could learn in a week in Soho, you couldn't teach in a year.
No, I know. Yeah. It is. The best education is doing it for a living. It is, but you have to have that piece of paper, as Adam said. You've got to have the grounding first.
Right now, I think in time that'll change. I think it is changing in a lot of ways.
But the crux of it is, I don't use the word proud for anything other than family. But I do believe that all the students that leave, that go on to do the great things, they do make me very proud. Very proud to think that we've got this, we've got this positive result out of, a lot of their own hard work. And it is their own hard work that will get them there. It's not my hard work. I've done it. Been there, done that, got T-shirts, many of them.
I'd stand on my chair right now and yell, "Captain, my captain," if you're not careful.
Oh, to be compared to a man like that.
Oh, yeah, may you rest in peace, Paul. Right.
And on that bombshell...
We're kind of done. Yeah.
Sweet.
Is that all right, Adam? Thank you very much.
It is. Yeah, no, this has been awesome.
Really enjoyed it.
If you know anybody who wants to talk about their life... but in VFX, not like, we're 30 years down coal mines.
Yep, games, VFX, production, post-production, any of those sort of things. And I am going to talk to maybe get someone in from film as well. Gary.
Yes, well, I'm going to tap up with a few friends, one in particular. I'm not entirely sure what he's working on at the minute. He doesn't put things up normally until they are well and truly finished. And he's genuinely a good laugh. He is. I haven't spoken to him for well over a decade, face to face. But I'm hoping I can get him involved. There's people. If there's anyone who's listening to this who knows me and has worked with me in the past, they'll all be going, "Oh, no, he's going to bloody call me. No." I'll go, beep. I'm sorry, the person you have called has not been connected.
Well, I can testify that if you are listening and you want to be on this and you work in 3D, because you can't just be the average Joe, I assume.
No.
Unless, maybe as a one-off, who knows? Get in and do it, because I've had a laugh.
Excellent.
It's been a great evening.
Somehow, Gary, we have become professionals.
John, let's not go too far. I wouldn't say professional. I wouldn't say we're a couple of old pros.
Right. Well, I need to wrap this up now. So
really,
place to be.
Yes. He's got showers to have, line of duty to watch.
I
love that Adam's so quiet. He's thinking, I don't watch this rubbish.
I know. Well, I mean, it's not rubbish. No, nothing's rubbish in the pandemic. It's all good viewing because we ain't got anything else to do. This
is true. I'm currently on series 6 of Criminal is it Criminal Minds? Yes. And there's 15 of those.
I've watched more anime from Netflix, I think, than I can ever.
I've gibblied myself to death. Yes,
they are brilliant. I've absolutely loved it.
And things like, what is it? There's my daughters have got me into some of this Korean stuff. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Korean stuff is brilliant.
The Korean stuff's amazing.
It is.
It really is. Demon Slayer.
Yeah, watched it. Yeah. Gorged on it.
Attack on Titan has also taken over my household.
Yeah. Ooh.
But that's deservedly. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
It's horrifying, but amazing in equal measure.
Well, enjoy your pulled pork, Adam.
I really am. You guys enjoy Line of Duty. I hope
we will.
You get what you want out of it.
So it's a good night from John.
Good night from Gary.
And a good night from me.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye.
Take it easy, everyone.
This work is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 4.0 International License. Any opinions stated during the course of this podcast belong purely to myself and to John and are based at the time that we record this. The theme music is My Everything by DJ Quads. If you like that, and I'm sure you probably did, there is a lot more of his great stuff which you can find at soundcloud.com/DJ Quads, or his music is also promoted by www.free-stock-music.com.